the OD at Assumption University in Thailand. I'm an associate professor and I'm a teacher in Art and Design School in Beijing Polytechnic, and I'm a member of China National Arts and Crafts Society. I'm a decoration artist technician, and I'm a certified trainer of Apple Inc. I think I have the multi role, such as the OD student and the designer and the artist and the photographer and the filmmaker. I was the president over the first batch of the modern apprenticeship pilot project of the military of the education and the two keys, history and art criticism. Activity carry out the school enterprise cooperation and response for the Ministry of the Education, Vocational Education, National Culture, Inheritance and Innovation, Professional Teaching, Resources Library, Construction and the Management. And I accelerate rich professional knowledge of the training experience in the teaching. In the 2010, I went to the Westminster College for 3 weeks to study the British vocational education concept and the media arts design. I am the director of the media department. I carried out professional construction and social services and has received a good result. My bachelor degree is in the Capital Normal University in Beijing, China, major in fine art. My master's degree is in Capital Normal University in Beijing, China, majored in the art history. You can see the two pictures in the left. This is my drawing. Thank you. Next is the background of the study. First, the purpose of this research is to find out the extent of the strategic leadership and its impact on the organizational commitment of Minlong Group in China. Minlong Group and the Beijing Polytechnics are carrying out in deep school enterprises cooperation. The company needs design and staff, and the school needs the real project and the hands-on experience. The picture on the left is we are do the services for the Minlong Group. At the same time, the school provides the company with the online courses, production and ceramic master courses, production services, and regularly provides the company with the ceramics modeling design theme. And the next is the culture and the creative industry is the largest industry in the developing economies, especially in big cities in China, such as Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, and Hong Kong. We can see the picture on the left. The picture is Jingdong and the Minlong Group and signed a strategic cooperation contract this morning. Jingdong is the largest self-operated e-commerce in China. In China, policy is very important. In the report of the 19th National Congress of the Communist Party of China, it points out that we should improve the system of the modern culture industry and the market system, innovate the production and the operation the mechanism, improve the cultural and economic politics, and foster new forms and culture business. These requirements point out the direction for the further development of the culture and the creative industry. And according to the culture and the creative industry, gathering a rare to interaction and the characteristics of the radiation linkage upgrades, culture creative in industry policy should jump out of the concentration area itself, jump out of the idea itself, and the social and economic development in the city under the background and of adjusting the measure to local conditions of the policy. With new thinking, dynamic development determined the breakthrough and the implementation of the policy objectives surrounding the creative industries of the new form, new market, the form of the new value, perfecting the policy system of the cultural creativity industry, make the cultural creativity industry cluster development. And the Milan Group is seeking to break through the agglomeration of the ceramics industry in the Beijing Shilihe area and continuously expand to the extent to the field of the culture services, community services, and innovative design services. At the same time, given the poor shape of the real economy, which is heavily affected by the epidemic, new economic growth models and new forms of the business will further drive the economic development. The practice of Minlong Group can be used as an example to provide a reference to the other culture and creative industry enterprises in Beijing. Next, we'll talk about the company. Minlong Group, founded in 2002, is a large private enterprise. Minlong Group is a cross-industry, diversified business group of the enterprise, composed of several subsidiaries, such as Minlong Ceramics Headquarters, Minlong Square, and the Minlong Art and Ceramics Museum. Minlong Group has more than 300 employees, include 36 employees of Minlong Ceramics Art Museum. This started focus on the department of the Minlong Ceramics Art Museum. The picture on the left is about the Minlong Plaza of the Minlong Ceramics Museum. It's in this building. And next, we're talking about the leader. The leader Chen Jinlin is the chairman of the Minlong Group. He was born in the 1964 Poutian, Fujian province, which are bachelor's degree. He founded Minlong Group as a chairman in 2002. He is the vice president of Beijing Federation of Industry and Commerce. He is vice chairman of the Beijing Chaoyang District Federation of Industry and Commerce. He is president of Beijing Ceramics Chamber of Commerce, and he is vice president of Beijing Fujian Chamber of the Commerce. Next, we are talking about the structure of the organization. First, the Minlong Group was a big enterprise, has more than 300 employees, include 36 employees of Minlong Ceramics Art Museum. We can see on the top is the chairman Chen Jinlin, and the whole group divided into the three parts. The first is the Minlong Ceramics headquarters. It's a large ceramics building material market. The second is the Minlong Square. It's a brand agency and direct sales system. And the third is the Minlong Art and Ceramics Museum. It's including the ceramics art exhibition, design, and experience education. It's focused on the cultural and creative industry. In this study, we involved 4 supervisors, Chairman Chen Jinlin, and Secretary Yang, and Assistant Ji Chengwen, and curator Chen Meixia, and involved 10 staffs to the interview and 36 staff to the questionnaire. Next is about the background and the leadership related problem. Under the influence of the social environment, the business channels and the culture creative services of the enterprise had encountered bottlenecks. I have got in touch with the Milan Group for about 6 months and participate in the project of the ceramics master course production and communicate with the chairman of the group, Chen Jinlin, which helped me to have a better understanding of their situation. Under the influence of the, it mainly include the decline of the main business of this group, the decrease of the customers in the ceramics market, the rapid development of the e-commerce and the online business caused by the epidemic, and the continuous transformation of the company's business and the products from the extensive to the high quality. In this environment, under the impression of the coronavirus, Milan Group is facing a change to carry out more online publicity and online courses, as well as the enhancing the publicity on the social software, such as Douyin or or named TikTok in the American, especially to enhance the performance and competitiveness of this culture and the creative sector. Next is a statement of the problem under the impact of the coronavirus 19. Enterprises are facing a new economic situation and industrial transformation and upgrading. The main business of the Milan Group is the ceramics building material industry, which is faced a problem and exceeds the production capacity, low industrial concentration, low emission reduction, and the intelligent malnutrition level, and efficient innovation ability. My research objective is the purpose of the study is to test if strategy leadership shows a positive relationship with the organizational commitment in the Milan Group. The strategies of the leaders. First, the Milan Group is in a period of the transformation. First is provide a vision to the organizational plan. The second is the chairman Chen Jinlin seeks for a business and enterprises development direction. And the third is the improve employees' work environment through leading the transformation. The fourth is show the high involvement in the strategy decision of the organization. The last is the leaders are more conscious and career-oriented. Next is about create a clear vision. I think it's the most important for the group. First, enhance the employees' involvement and further improve the corporate performance and the customer satisfaction. Next is improve the effectiveness and of the enterprises by the implementing changes. Next is improve the organization commitment and the performance through the communication change. The last is create a paradigm of the strategic leadership for cultural and creative industries. Next, we'll talk about the intervention. In the intervention, we'll use the action research from the 3 stages, pre-ODI, ODN, and post-ODI. In the pre-ODI stage, we use the qualitative and quantitative method, include the observation, interview, and the questionnaire to obtain the current situation, such as the organizational commitment and the performance. The second stage is ODI. First is include overcoming organizational defenses workshop. and the double loop learning workshop and effectiveness communication training. It's aimed to establish a type 2 organizational learning system. And the post-ODI stage will also use the qualitative and quantitative methods, include the observation, interview, questionnaire. Will find out the impact of the assessment, find the organizational commitment and the performance. Now we'll show about more detail. First, in the pre-ODI, the first step is problem identification. Next to the data collection, use the observation, interview, and the questionnaire. Will include 4 supervisors and 10 staffs and 36 staffs. We'll get the current situation, organization commitment, and performance. The next is the diagnosis. I use the SWT to find the situation and the environment of the enterprises. And the next is feedback. Feedback to the chairman Chen Jinlin, and get the admission to started the action. Then is to the action planning from the literature review, discuss with the supervisors. In the second stage of ODI, include the 4 parts. First is the motivation workshop. It includes the overcoming organizational defenses workshop. And the second is the goal setting. I use the double loop learning workshop. And the third is coaching. Coaching use the effectiveness communication training. The last is about the team development, use the team building. This is a 2 picture in the OD process. The picture on the left is the communication training, and the picture in the right is the team building process. The last stage, post-ODI, first is collecting data. Also the 4 supervisor, 10 staffs, and 36 staffs. Next is the data analysis. I applying the Coinbox Alpha reliability analysis to test the reliability of the questionnaire, and use the SPSS program to analyze the data. Next to the hypothesis testing, to test the relationship of the strategic leadership and the employee commitment. The next is to answer the research problem. The last stage is the feedback. I give the report, the results to the chairman Chen Jinlin to accomplish the study. The effect of the change. First is the employee satisfaction was being significantly improved. The second, corporate earnings rose 8% in the November 2020. Third is by the end of the November, they have completed 4 online master courses. The last is the 20 Douyin or named TikTok video updates have been completed in the end of the November. The conclusion of the study, strategic leadership shows a positive relationship with the organizational commitment in Minlong Group. I think it's very important because it could establish a paradigm or give a reference to the other to the other enterprises in the cultural and innovation industry. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for your listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunlei. If there are any questions right now, you can post it in the chat box, and I will share it with the presenter. Any questions from the audience here?
Yes, welcome. Any question we can discuss about the leadership in ocean? Thank you.
I'm going to unmute you. Just give me a second, please.
Okay.
Yes, you can go ahead.
So I can directly ask Mr. Sun about a question about
Yes.
his project. Okay, this
Yes,
is Amber, Mr. Sun.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm interested in this project because I'm doing a project about leadership, but
Yeah.
I talked about leadership in emergency response situation, but that's quite different situation. And I thought you are doing also a program concerning our dissertation, but this seems to be a completed task for you, right? So you have
Yes.
finished this project.
I think it's partly completed. Yeah.
Partly completed. Wow, I saw your strategy and I saw your intervention. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you
because I began this project about half years. It started from the June 2020. It lasts about 6 months.
Okay. So how did you identify the variables?
Identify the variables. I think first is the job satisfaction is the immediate variable, and the independent variable is the job employees commitment. Sorry, I think it's the dependent variable is the employee's job commitment, and the independent variable is the satisfaction to the leader, because I do the some of the work is about this. We design a questionnaire to collect the data and do the analysis. Yes. Okay. Can you hear me?
Sunlei, I was quite interested in knowing how you were able to measure strategic leadership, because you had said that your research study was about how strategic leadership impacted organization commitment. Sunlei?
I hear not very clearly.
I'll repeat my question. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Your research study was about the impact of strategic leadership on organization commitment, right?
Yeah.
So I was very interested and I'm very curious about how you measure strategic leadership.
I measure the strategic leadership first. I think it's the from two aspects. First is the satisfaction to the leader. I get it from the employees, and the second is the performance of the enterprises. Because I do a case study, action research in the one company, so I use the two. I use the two things to measure about it. Yes.
What was the literature that guided you on this? Like to look at job satisfaction of the employees and the organization performance as a metric for giving insight about strategic leadership?
I think because of the time, I have not explored all of this study. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
I had another question. I'm not from China, so I'm not aware of the national at a country level cultural aspects. However, I have seen the impact of COVID in India. That's where I belong, and because of the COVID pandemic, a lot of people were on the verge of losing their jobs. Yeah, there was a threat to people's vocation and jobs, and as a reaction to that, as a response to that, a lot of people found organizational commitment. I think organizational commitment naturally grew because organizations there were examples of organizations throwing people out and kicking people out. So organization commitment grew naturally. People were okay with no trainings. People were okay with not great communication from leaders. And I'm talking purely about an India setting. So I'm curious to know if suppose when you're looking at organization commitment as an output variable, apart from strategic leadership, during this COVID pandemic, were there any other things also that influenced the organization commitment?
I think it's depend on the different environment and different situation. I think in China, we have encountered the coronavirus. It's very huge impact of the society and the economic. But I think strategic leadership is very important to give the subordinate a clear vision and the clear direction to develop the enterprise and to strengthen the product and to improve the customers' satisfaction. I think is very important. Such as I give the example of the Minlong Group's leader Chen Jinlin. He was very powerful, and he was easily to discuss with the employees. I think is very important detail. I through the observation, I think the most important is to extend the channel of the business, such as the online commerce and the e-commerce, because the Minlong Group has the official TikTok. He will he will do the e-commerce from the communication software and different, such as the corporate with the Jingdong. I just said that Jingdong is the biggest e-commerce of self-operate e-commerce in China. It's very important. He has a very huge impact in the business channel. I think it depends on the situation. Strategy leadership will affect the employees' commitment and affect the employees' job satisfaction and increase the performance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Are there any further questions that is directed towards Sunlei? I have not received any further questions, Sunlei. Thank you for presenting. Thank you for sharing your work and your insights. I would like to now welcome our next presenter, Ku Mingyang. Ku, can you unmute? Yeah, can you unmute?
Yes.
And Sunlei, I would request you to turn off your video while also presenting Ku's slides, because Ku is not able to has some technical glitches with presenting the slide from his side. So you could mute yourself and turn off your video, but I will still retain you as a presenter, and you could put up on the screen Ku's slides, please.
Okay. Can you see the slide? The slide?
Yeah. 磊哥，帮我放一下最新发给你的这一份。
This？
不是，我微信上重新发了一份给你。
Okay.
Okay.
This version?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Now I'll introduce my next speaker, Ko Mingyang. Ko Mingyang is a PhD candidate of the OD program in Assumption University. He majors in the botany and bioscience in his undergraduate and graduate study. In 2050, he taught biology in the International Department of Beijing number 35 High School. In 2016, he taught biology in the General Education College in Beijing Polytechnic. During the 2017 to now, he became the secretary of the Young League Committee and in charge of the student affairs in the School of the Bioengineering of Beijing Polytechnic. He works hard and he was a strong sense of the responsibility, and he was being recognized by the leader and by the colleagues. That's all. And now welcome the Ko Mingyang to continue. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for Mr. Sunlei's introduction. Today I will present the topic of my presentation as the influence of leadership style on organization innovation. Actually, I didn't do a lot of work in this area. I'm a newcomer, also a rookie in this area. So in this stage, the main task for me is to study new knowledge and to listen more and speak more of my own opinions. Maybe some of my opinions is wrong, and it's welcome for other experts to give me some suggestions or advice. Just as Mr. Sunlei introduced just now, I'm also a teacher from Beijing Polytechnic. I teach biology in the General Education College in BP, and also I am the Young Sleep secretary of the Young Sleep committee in bioengineering, and the main job of this is student ideological education and general management. And that's why I was very very lucky to join this doctoral program, because OD is a kind of major to research on how to improve the organization. Like me, my job is student management. I do a lot of work of the student management manager, but I also have some confusion about the management in the students. So OD can help me to do my job better, and then I will begin my presentation. My presentation is divided into 3 parts. The first is the leadership style. The second one is the organizational innovation. The third one, I just introduced the influence of transformational leadership on the organizational innovation. First, let's see the leadership style. From our PhD courses, we learned that there are many leadership styles. For example, I put it on this slide, and in one of them is the transformational leadership, and it's talk a lot in the recent years, and the researchers think that transformational leadership have the positive influence of the organizational innovation. And other leadership styles, just like paternalistic leadership, servant leadership, strategic leadership, just as Mr. Sun introduced to us, and ethical leadership, authentic leadership, and each of the leadership has its own characteristics. And in my opinions, I think leaders can have several leadership styles. They may change their leadership style depending on the different situation. However, there will be the main leadership styles throughout their works. So the leaderships can make the leader to help their organizations on the innovation. The next, we talk about the organizational innovation. In this part, I think the organizational innovation change consists of functional system innovation, management structure innovation, change of management system, and management behavior change. The changes in the functional system, it's divided in that the organization, according to new task objectives, and redesign all the management activities. In the changes in the management structure, maybe the organization will adjust the position and the department setup, improve workflow, and inter-information contract. The second one, change of the management system. It includes the rearrangement of the management personally, and redivision of responsibility and authority, and so on. And the last one, management behavior change. It means changes in various of regulations. In this part, The development work mentioned above often needs a certain period of time. It means we need a long time to make the development, and it's also a simple process to switch abruptly from the old structure to a new structure, and it generally requires a long transition and a transformation period. Therefore, as a leader should be good at sizing the opportunities, find the signs of the organizational change. So if the leader can understand this for part of the organization innovation, the leader could lead the organization in the front of their industry. Okay, next, the third part is the influence of transformational leadership on organizational innovation. That we may find that during on others research. Next page, please. The leaders, how the leaders to influence the organizational innovation. The leaders use their behaviors to influence the subordinates' behaviors, and the subordinates' behaviors may influence organizational innovation. So, in this kind of relationship, leaders' behaviors also depend on their leaderships. In this part, I will introduce the transformational leadership on the organizational innovation. Okay, next part. We all know that the transformational leaders always believe that the employees are trustworthy. There are 4 dimensions of the transformational leadership: idealized influence, charisma, intellectual stimulation, experimental motivation, and individualized consideration. And a transformational leader have a clear personal goal by building a further vision, connected and also connected with his employees, and take responsibility for their goals. Transformational leaders are trying to create a culture of reform and innovation. At the same time, this kind of leader will be responsible for training their employees, and they will grow and develop the employees in the process of achieving goals. From the perspective of knowledge sharing, transformational leadership can play an important role in the management of knowledge sharing process, which encourage good communication, knowledge transfer, and sharing. According to the social exchange theory, this atmosphere will greatly improve by knowledge sharing. In terms of idealized influence, charisma, and inspirational motivation. Transformational leadership, by offering tempting vision and strategy, inspires their employees' work motivation, and makes their employees aware of the importance of the work, and improve their expectation for the work. Transformational leadership through the impact of motivation and value change their employees' cognitions and make their employee willing to make additional efforts for their work, and shows the organization of the citizens' behavior that is generally expected. And also the transformational leadership makes the knowledge sharing be a part of the most important organizational behavior. In the case of intellectual motivation, the transformational leaders would encourage team members to conduct information sharing, to sharing the broader discussions about their innovative ideas, and increasing organizational communication by reducing barriers to knowledge sharing. In summary, the discovery of 4 dimensions of transformational leadership acts the knowledge sharing of employees and creates a conducive atmosphere to knowledge sharing. In this situation, employees are often the best sources of the new knowledge. So when the employees' free discussion means that knowledge is shared, learning ability will be improved, which means it will help the employees to improve their innovations. For instance, the highly creative scientist are more willing to communicate with his colleagues than the lower creative scientists. And the improvement of innovation ability helps the organization to create a good innovation atmosphere. We talk about more about the innovation in recent years because we know that the innovation is becoming the power of the economic growth. If the organization do not have the innovative ability, it means it will drop off the economic fast tree, and it means that this kind of organization will be soon quit in this industry. And also the Chinese government provide the new conceptual development. In Chinese, there's 新发展理念. One of them is that talk about the innovation development, and it puts the innovation to a country level strategic. So I think that the innovation is really important for the organizations, and the transformational leadership is a kind of leadership which can improve the organization's innovation. That's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Komi Yang. And right now, if there are any questions from the audience, please put your questions in the chat box, and that's at the bottom of your screen. And we'll be sharing that with Kao immediately. And in case you would like to ask the question directly, then you can also request for unmute, and I will unmute you, and you can ask the question to the presenter. Amber, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I have a question for Mr. Ko. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, your title is about leadership styles, you know, the influence of leadership styles upon organization innovation. But finally, you talked about transformational leadership. So I wonder how you found that transformational leadership has the greatest influence upon organization innovation. It seems that you have done that through literature review, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
literature review. And besides literature review, have you done any other research to prove that transformational style has the greatest influence? Because if I assume, if I put forward an assumption, I may consider service leadership works well. Because, you know, if a leader would like to provide service to his or her employees, and they may get great support in creation. So the innovation could be prosper here in the organization.
Yes. First, I think that the transformational leadership is kind of leadership which can make the innovation better. And as you mentioned, that the servant leadership maybe is another leadership can improve the organizational innovation. Actually, I didn't do too much work about the to research on this topic, because you mentioned that as a literature review, I just read some articles and just give my own ideas. Maybe, but I want to make it for to do more research in the future study, and maybe it will give me another results after I research.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question.
Any further questions from the audience? You could type it in the chat box, which is in the control panel on the right side, top right of your screen. Cool. If I may ask a question.
Oh yes, please.
I was interested in what was your motivation to pick up this research area, this research topic?
Because you know, my job is student management, and I'm in charge of the student union. It's a kind of organizations, but its work style isn't being changed for a long time, and that makes the students cannot improve their abilities. They just do what what their student leaders tell them to do, and just do like this. Yes, it means they learn the work style from their elder students. So I want to make a change of this work style, and want to give them more opportunities and stages to improve their abilities, both in the studies and in the communications. So I want to find a kind of leadership can make the students to improve their abilities.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, with the research that you've done, specifically in the COVID pandemic period, where there has been so much of disruption, what are your thoughts on the kind of innovation that has happened? What are your thoughts on the kind of innovation that has happened during this disruption?
Yeah. Yes. Because I think I'm not talk about the specific innovation because if you if I want to make some innovation in my students union, I may want to make some innovation on the communication ability improvement, on the how to say a working style, or the working diversity improvement. Because I think in this kind of innovation can make the students work how to say can make their working more interesting, more than just to do what the others do.
Well, I mean, this is a lot of innovation that you talked about in process, behavior, ways of working, etc. How would this look like in a product innovation in a manufacturing setup? I mean, would the same principle apply, like transformative leadership playing a vital role?
Sorry, I can't hear you clearly because my area is.
I'll repeat that. Cool. I'll repeat that. So what you have shared with respect to your work is largely in an interpersonal, in a group kind of a situation. How would this look like if it was a product manufacturing company or something which is
Yes, I understand your question.
Extrapolated and looked at it that way?
Maybe you know that nowadays the innovation in manufacture or company or the other commercial companies, they all find some new to add it. They add it in their productions or in their working ways. In China, there is some new styles, the new selling styles. We call it 主播带货. It means someone live from the camera and show their audience the products they want to sell. So in this kind of the sell model, a lot of people buy goods through their cell phones. It's a kind of the innovation in selling, I think. But if you want me to make some innovation in manufacture or other commercial organizations, maybe I think I have a lot of things to learn before I really want to have some good idea for their innovations.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay. Thank you, question.
If there is any more questions from the audience, we wait for a few seconds. So seems like there isn't any. No further questions follow up. Thank you so much, Sunlei and Ku, for sharing your insight, sharing your presentation, and thank you all for also being part of this session. Thank you very much, and I'll be closing the session right now. Yeah, have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.